All right, guys, welcome back tonight. Living Life Podcast. This is Jason. We got Ryan on the other side.
What's
And
up?
tonight we have Brandon and Steven from Panhandle Flyways with us. What's up, guys?
How's it
How's
going?
it going?
All right.
Man, are you guys enjoying any colder weather up there in the Panhandle at all?
So this weekend it actually is cooling down. Today was the first day that it kind of dropped down. I think it was like low 90s today, and then tomorrow is when it starts getting into those 80s. So next week is going
Yeah.
to be really nice.
We had the humidity kind of blow out today, and it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm all about it, especially with dove
Yep.
season starting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all doing guided hunts for dove season this year?
Now we were going to, and then we decided not to. We kind of didn't get the lodge finished as quick as we thought, and so we kind of brushed off dove season, make sure we got the lodge 100% ready to go whenever season actually starts for crane.
Gotcha. All right. So I guess little backstory. Ryan and I hunted with them last year. Current little crane hunting. We'd been in another place, and then we made the trek to the middle of nowhere between Lubbock
Yeah,
and Amarillo.
we
Really?
met him at Squad Fest in 2023.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
22
yeah,
ago.
23.
And we entered the drawing, and we did not get chosen. But Jason got a
his
phone
marketing
call.
worked because he made the phone call that said, "You didn't win. You want to book a hunt?" Ah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was the phone call he got.
Yep. It worked, hook, line, and sinker. So I was telling my son tonight that, hey, we're doing a podcast. He's like, okay, cool. He goes, who's you guys doing? I said, Panhandle Flyways. He's like, oh, I follow them on Instagram. Oh, cool. So he's like, you remember what Squad Fest? They were there. I'm like, yeah, they were. He goes, they gave me their business card.
There you go.
So he hands
That's
this to me tonight.
us.
I was like, that's the guys. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that's the guys.
Yeah,
So-
heck yeah.
You got a 14-year-old with your business card in his pocket. He just can't afford a hunt.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why he hands it off to dad.
Exactly.
So,
So Jason, take it from there.
I mean, tell us what all y'all do. You know, what you hunt, where you're at. I know you said something about a lodge. Give us the full rundown on it. I mean, this is free advertising for you. Sell everybody on it. Tell us why to come see you again.
Wait, all right, Steven, if I miss anything, I'll start off, but if I miss anything, back me up.
Sounds good.
So mostly what we do, I'd say close to 90% of what we do is sandhill crane. Now that's going to open late October, and that's going to close late January. But that's mainly our bread and butter. 90% of our clients come to us for that. Now we also do lesser Canada hunts, some duck hunts, not a whole bunch. And we also offer some afternoon add-ons, whether it may be pheasant, quail, prairie dogs, and then we're also looking to add pigs to that come next summer. Trying to get that ball rolling throughout the entire year. But if you know anything about the Texas Panhandle, you understand that if you want to shoot crane or even the little geese, I mean it's real hard to beat this area. It's pretty amazing.
How long you guys been up and running with your operation now?
So this is going to be year 4 for us. We technically been for 5 years, but legitimately under business
for 4?
license, right? Under with insurance and the whole 9 yards, been 4 years.
Okay,
This
cool.
will be 4. Yes, sir.
So I know last year when we were up there with y'all, you didn't have lodging, and you mentioned lodging. And I think when I talked to you I had a little guy with me. I talked to y'all for a second. I guess it was that Saturday at in Baton Rouge for a minute. I stopped by and said hi. And you said something about lodging. I know y'all didn't have it last year. So what do you got for lodging now?
I'll let Steven take that one over.
So for lodging this year, it's a 12 bunk beds. So we can sleep up to 12. That's obviously our private group, but it takes 6 to 12 to book the private group. It's a house. I mean, it don't get any better than that. We're trying to make it as comfortable as possible to where you and your private group or open group can come in and feel at home. It's gonna have a pretty sweet fireplace in the back. We just want to make it as comfortable as it can possibly be.
Yeah, for sure. That's
So
kind of
is-
that's
Go-
the main goal for us as far as with the lodge is kind of to help because we last year we did it too. We offer the shells, So that main piece that we were missing was the lodge. So, that's kind of going to help us just create that entire, experience to where you can come and really all you do is bring yourself and a gun whenever you come hunt with us, and we literally take care of everything else. That lodging is going to be your lodging, your meals, your first box of shells complimentary. We clean your birds, tag them, vacuum seal, cold storage, the whole 9 yards. But that lodging is really a big piece of our growth that is starting to happen, and so we couldn't be more excited to offer that to our guys.
So I know you guys cover kind of a vast space out there in the Panhandle. Usually, from my experience, some of the fields can be, I don't know, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour away from what you call home base. Is the lodge kind of centrally located to the areas you guys hunt?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's still located here in Plainview. There's a road that heads south on the east side of town. It's called FM 400, and if you take that road outside of town, let's say, I don't know, 5 miles maybe.
5 minutes.
There, yeah, there's going to be a little community out there, and that's where the lodge is. So what it is, it's a double wide trailer, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Each bedroom's got bunk beds in it. So got a really nice big dining area, big old living room, kitchen. We're kind of going to have it set up with a little pro shop and lockers and stuff of that sort. So we still got a lot of work to do on it, but I'm freaking stoked about it.
Yeah.
That makes it nice. You're not staying, because I know last year when Ryan and I were up there, we stayed quite a ways away, but because we were looking for an Airbnb, just for the simple fact we both had driven coming from different places, and we didn't want to leave a truck in a hotel parking lot or a motel parking lot or a Walmart parking lot or whatever
Yeah,
it may be.
you remember that sweet honeymoon suite we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I bet y'all do remember that one.
Dude, that was fun. We walked in and it looked like a little saloon. It was kind of like a little 2-story tiny house, and it looked like a saloon on the outside. And it was in the middle of a pasture. It was pretty cool. A little neon sign up top, and we walked in.
I kid you not, maybe 2 weeks after y'all left, I was on social media and I saw an advertisement pop up for that. And it was
Really?
like, this is the best places in West Texas for you to take your honeymoon and something like that. I was like, man, I know 2 guys that were staying there at one point.
I mean, it was like the bed had silk sheets and shit on it. I would like ask him, Ron booked it. I'm like, hey, dude, what are you trying to do
was
up here,
was
man?
full with roses and stuff in it.
Yep.
Yes, it did. It did indeed.
100%.
It served its purpose. I remember it was colder than shit and windier than hell up there that time.
Yeah, it was. What was it called? I thought y'all were here on one of those of those warm weekends.
It wasn't cold. It was windy. It wasn't
windy. Okay.
It blew in.
I remember it being cool.
Maybe we were leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we were there the first week of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it stayed hot here from the freaking first and second week of November. It was just, I mean, it was warm. We couldn't pattern birds to save our lives. And boy, they sure did hand it to us those first 2 weeks. And then after that weather kind of rolled in and it got onto a consistent cold. And so after that, we freaking rock and rolled. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, when y'all were here, it was warm, and that second day was freaking kind of like 2 hours in the hunt. It just got nasty windy.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
So how's y'all season overall? I mean, I know you said it was, first couple weeks it was rough, and I mean, that's hunting. That's expected. It can't all be glory every time. Did the rest of the season stay pretty consistently good, or did y'all have ups and downs?
No, it was pretty consistent after that. I mean, like, so those first 2 weeks, they freaking handed it to us. And we had one of our last groups with one of those kind of crappy hunts. Game warden came out and checked us. And those guys had come and hunted with us for 3 days. This was day 2 or 3. It was either their last. Okay, it was day 2.
Yeah.
And game warden came and checked us, and the guys were kind of in the dumps. We had, I think it was a group of 6, and I think that day they maybe shot like, what, Steven, 3 or 4 birds maybe.
Yeah, it was very minimum birds.
Yeah, so it wasn't very good. And game warden had come up and of course asked how many birds we got and this and that. And we were chit chatting, and I was like, dude, we freaking got our butts. What, we shot like 4 birds. And he's like, dude, he said, between y'all and the past like 3 or 4 groups, He's like, y'all have got 4, and between everyone else, there's like 2. He's like, so everyone I've checked today's there's like a 6 bird total between
Wow.
everybody. So we were all getting our butts whooped, but like you said, that's just part of it. After that cold came in, they got really good, especially January. January got really cold last year, and stuff got pretty freaking wild for us.
So if somebody was going to book with y'all, what time frame would you suggest? Probably your best. I mean, I know you can't predict it, but you know, over the last 4 or 5 years, what's consistently like the best time frame?
I tell everybody if I was going to book a hunt, it would be in December because no matter what, December most of the time we're usually fairly cold. But what's crazy, so I get asked that all the time, especially at the shows when people are booking. They're like, "Well, what top of the month is better than the other?" And it's real hard. It's hit or miss because like last year, November for us early was really hot, and then January was it got really cold, but it wasn't as cold as 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, November was extremely cold for us, and then January was twice as cold. So January was tough because it got so cold it froze all our water and birds started pushing out. Um, Now last year it got cold, but it wasn't quite that cold, so we still kept a lot of birds. So like I said, back to the beginning, if I was going to book a hunt, I'd try to stay around that December. Now bird wise, we have them. Like when y'all were here, we had birds.
Yeah.
They just
But
don't cooperate. Yeah, no, y'all had birds. They just
right.
didn't
Yeah.
cooperate.
Yeah, they'll always be here. Those calendar birds will show up, but it's the second part as to getting them to decoy and do what we want is the tricky part whenever the weather isn't really doing what we want or whether they're in a cotton field and the hide's really not that well, it's kind of just, it's a pain. I'll put it that
What
way.
what's y'all's water situation shaping up for this season? I know kind of central and central west Texas, we've had quite a bit of rain through the spring and continued through the summer. So what's your water situation up there?
Scout report, Stephen.
So, we haven't been not getting nothing crazy. We got a really, really good rain in the middle of summer, and it like poured on us. And ever since then, we haven't got nothing really consistent, but we do get our rains here and there to keep the ground soft and still hold some water. But you know, technically, we don't want too much water to where all our birds are splitting over 30 different bodies of water. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And
as long as we can,
go ahead.
go ahead.
The water you get, is it just like sheet water, just a couple inches deep that holds, or what does it look like?
Man, it depends. Depends where. If it's an old lake bottom, if we're getting good rain at the time, it may go up quite a bit. Majority of it's just a couple inches.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, as long as we get these small amounts of rains here and there to where we can keep our water, it'll be good.
Okay. Cool. Have you
I
guys
think
seen any birds or any ducks at all yet flying?
No, not
I,
yet.
I personally haven't. I know a few guys around the Lubbock area are starting to see some teal, and
Yeah. That's what I saw on
so
Facebook today. Somebody saw some teal up there.
yeah, they're starting to see them. So I bet another week or so, and we'll probably start seeing them. And I don't know. We don't really get a whole bunch to begin with. It's kind of enough. Like I get asked all the time. Are y'all going to do early teal season? And we do it as far as just buddy hunting. I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah.
It's not enough for me to sell a hunt and expect for you to come out and just have just a grand old time. Now, if
Right.
you wanted to come out and just get in a blind real early and shoot a handful of birds, and that's all cool and dandy. But as far as you could go to Louisiana or South Texas and just absolutely get into the teal, by bucos amount. So I always tell
Right.
people that, if you want to go get on some early teal, I'd recommend going south. Now, if you want to just bring some buddies out and kind of just piddle around and shoot into a few groups of birds, and we could do that. But I always like to be upfront with the guys. I'm not gonna
Sure.
sell you a banger.
Sure. I know that DU just came out with their population survey. Is there any kind of population survey that handles just like crane in general, or how do you follow the population of crane and kind of keep up with that?
So there is, man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good information on some of those Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group for just about anything nowadays. And I don't off the top of my head, I don't remember what exactly like the exact what's the word I'm
Group
looking
is?
for? Right. Well, the group and also the
Like
I'm
the
going to say all
organization.
right. That's the organization that's hosting it. I'm going to draw a blank and I can't remember on the spot. But there is some good information on that, and also if you can just go online and look at it that way. As far as from what I know, this year is shaping up to be pretty dang good.
Pretty banger, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the Dove is like up 22% or something, and the White Wings are up too, and everything else. So
I think I've seen the White Wings the highest it's ever been this year.
yeah,
It's up there pretty high.
Yeah.
How's the dove looking for y'all? Y'all got a bunch of
Well,
birds ready or not?
not a whole bunch. This year's, it's kind of the area we hunted with y'all. Um, Last year there was just grain everywhere, so of course they swap crops every year, and so this year that area, there's a bunch of cotton, so it's not really just lights out. So it kind of worked out with the lodge not being ready in time because, it really isn't just something super crazy as far as the dove. Yeah, for us now the guys in Lubbock, I've seen videos. I mean, they've got them thick and heavy, and
okay,
but yeah, for us, and then truthfully, we haven't just been looking a whole bunch. Once we decided that we weren't going to do it this year, we kind of just put a pause on going out and scouting the doves. So save some fuel money. Everyone knows that stuff's expensive nowadays.
Yep.
You've been kind of busy too, right? With the bachelor party last week, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, I still haven't recovered. Like, I'm not even close to being recovered. No, don't
That's
let
good.
Steven say that thing, because Steven was sleeping the entire time.
Oh, don't let it. No, don't do that. I think that whole weekend I probably got a total of 8 hours of sleep.
Dang.
It is insane, man. I'll tell you what, the Panhandle, West Texas, it's a hot son of a gun over here. It's dry, but I've never been more thankful for our wind until we went to Phoenix. Because Scottsdale was hot. It was like 105, 107. So it wasn't just a whole lot hotter than it's been here. But by God, they don't have a lick of wind whatsoever. So
like getting an oven.
Yeah, it was just sitting there baking, and I was like, God damn, this is hot. And everyone's got rocks, no one's got grass. So everyone's got rocks in their yard, and there's cement, concrete everywhere. And I was like, good Lord. It's a struggle being out here, especially whenever you're golfing and you're down in beers and your balls are going right and left everywhere but straight. Oh man, it was bad.
That's awesome.
Like Ryan golfing.
Yeah. I usually lose more balls than I play with. So
yeah, I'll put it this way: Steven took a dozen of his tech balls, and I'll let him tell you how many he's got left. We played 2 rounds of golf.
I came back with 3 balls left. So
dang, you're better than me.
He must have found one, because when we got on the plane, it was 2.
Yeah, I did find one. It was lost at the bottom of my bag, but yeah, nonetheless, I lost 9.
Nice.
So, Steven, I got a question for you. How do you balance the guiding and going to school?
Man, dude, truthfully, it's hectic.
Because it's not like you're not guiding in Lubbock and you're going to school in Lubbock. So you got what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
It's 45 miles. I can make it in 30 minutes if I need to.
Okay. That's not too bad, but still that's
right. It's not too bad, but when I make my classes, I schedule them around times I think I might be busy. So like on a Monday, I may have a late class and I'll leave that Monday open. So if we got a hunt or something like that, I can scout early in the morning or still guide that hunt and yet still make my class in the afternoon.
Okay.
And, vice versa for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday, if we have a hunt that Friday, which we will run a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If I need to, I can either guide or scout that Friday morning, and then I can make my class at 2:50 in the afternoon.
Okay. So you just run later classes on the
I kind of flip flop and do all that stuff, but yeah, it's
well, and last year he had it kind of made. He didn't have any classes at all on Friday, so that helped out a bunch too.
Yeah.
Do you guys get many customers during the week, or?
We do. A lot of the retired guys. Man, honestly, we filled up weekdays quicker than we were filling up weekends off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. They were getting filled up pretty quick. I think now we've got maybe one weekend as far as a private group that we could take. We've got some weekends that we can add like 2 to 4 more people to it. But as far as private group wise, we're starting to get really slim on on weekends. I think it's only one, and then we can of course fit some on the weekdays still.
Yeah, that's great. Great for y'all.
So-
Are the shows helping you fill those spots?
The shows this year were insane. Like,
Good.
yeah, I think Squad Fest, we started off booked 5 at Squad Fest. Delta we booked, I think it was like 9 or 10.
I think
And then Delta we booked like, or not Delta, Hunters Extravaganza, we booked like 13.
Wow. Okay. I heard
Yeah.
Squad Fest was a lot cooler this year.
Oh, it was amazing.
yeah.
Y'all,
Yeah.
It was so hot that last 2 years ago.
yeah. I couldn't. Once I seen the weather, I'd never been so happy in my life because.
Yeah.
And this year we got a spot. So last year we were on that asphalt.
Yeah.
This year we were on the grass. Kind of where I don't know if y'all remember where the porta potties were, but just beside those, there was there's a company that was selling those pit blinds right in front of the porta potties, and then a little bit further down the
Okay.
road.
Yeah.
Everyone was in that grass, and so that's where we had a spot this year, and it was freaking nice with the grass being under us. We took one of those porta cool deals, and then with the weather alone, it was only like mid 80s. So
Oh, killer. Way better.
yeah,
better than last
what I think last year it was like 100 and something. I think
It was fucking hot. I mean,
It was hot.
Yeah.
we had a house rented, and it was on a little private lake. And like when we left that Saturday, because I guess went Friday afternoon and then Saturday morning, and we left Saturday at
Right before the storm.
yeah, before that storm. And then we went back, and it was like everybody, we got in the lake. It was like, it was so damn hot. We just literally got in the lake. I mean, we didn't have a boat or shit to do. We just got in the lake because it was hot.
Yep.
Dude, that storm was crazy.
Yeah, we actually had, I guess, left the house and went back into St. Louis and took the kids like an axe throwing place. And I think, what did we sit there, Ryan? Damn near an hour after.
At least an hour to let the rain pass. Yeah.
I mean, it was coming down.
Yeah, it was crazy. We took last year. We took my travel trailer. So I've got a 38-foot bumper pool. It's got 3 slides on it, and so we hauled that last year. And if we didn't have that thing there, we were screwed because everyone was starting to pack up. So we got the mounts out real quick and went and put them in the trailer. Well, by the time we got back to pick up the wall, like the storm was already rolling in pretty thick, and we didn't want to take the wall apart. So I just laid it over the bed, and I told Steven to get in the back and stand on the bumper and hold on to the wall.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's super windy. I was going maybe like 5 or 10 miles. No, it's probably like 5.
It was probably 5 at first, and then he decides to speed up. And I'm holding on to that wall on the back, and I'm yelling, slow down. The wall's picking up, and I can see him. He's in there laughing, just laughing his little tail off, and speeds up even more. And as soon as he speeds up, that wind catches that front of the board, and I kid you not, picked that board up probably 15, 20 feet up into the air. That threw me off the back of the pickup. He thought it was the funniest thing ever.
He's still laughing about it too.
Yeah. It's freaking. I'll never forget his face in my rearview mirror. I was looking, I was just laughing my ass off, and he's like, "Slow down!" And his face is gone, and I see nothing but the board, the wall. And then I look in the side mirror, and the wall's like freaking 10 foot flying in the air. And man, it was the funniest thing ever. But to add to that, so we got back to the trailer and propped up the wall and everything. So we being in a travel trailer with that type of wind, it was like being on a boat in the middle of the ocean. And after it passed, we got out, dude, and the freaking like the stabilizer legs on the trailer had moved over like 2 inches. Like the entire travel trailer just shifted over, and
Dang.
it was wild. Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at your guys' website right now. On your FAQs, are client dogs allowed? Tell me how that's been.
He said that he don't say it. Fuck no, don't bring your shitty dog.
Yeah, so I tell everyone, you can bring your dog. Most people that do bring their dog, they won't pick up a crane anyways. But I tell them, you can bring a dog. First off, you've got to sign a waiver. If anything, if your dog goes and picks up a cripple and that cripple stabs your dog's eye, that waiver protects us.
Still your dog,
yeah. That liability gets off of us that way. So that, and if your dog's just acting crazy, then we'll just politely ask you to put him up. But we get asked that. That's the reason it's on there, because it is an extremely, extremely frequently asked question.
Okay.
What are you asking for, Ryan? You wanting to take that 5 pound miniature puppy
No,
crane hunting?
he's 30 pounds, dude. He's full of energy.
What do you have?
Okay. So long story short,
What is it, a pub?
Jason's lab is
He's done.
towards the end of his hunting career.
He's about to be 11.
So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
it was kind of my turn to kind of do the dog thing at this point. So my wife did not want a lab. She hates labs. And that's just her thing. The hair, everything else. So,
Right.
so I have two Weimaraners. I have two big dogs, and we'll tee off into that in a minute. But we got a smaller dog. We went hunting in South Texas back in February of this year.
Yeah, quail
And,
hunting.
and a buddy of mine runs short hair pointers,
Yep.
and he has an English Cocker Spaniel. Well, that little English Cocker Spaniel was the rowdiest, coolest dog I thought I've ever seen in my life. So I went and got me one. And he's now 7 months old. He's being trained just outside of College Station. And he graduated his obedience training today. Went and checked on him today. But he has a drive for birds that Jason's lab, I don't know. I don't think I've seen his lab have that drive, but we'll see.
Since he was about 5.
Yeah. But he's going to max out at 30 pounds. He's not going to be a big dog at all, but he's going to be one hell on wheels little dude. So we'll see how he does.
That's interesting you said that. Me and Steven went and visited our dog that we've got. He's being trained in White Rat, which is kind of just north of the McKinney area. And so we went and seen him, what I think maybe 3 weeks ago. And it was her and another trainer. They were training together that day. And he had, I'm pretty sure, a Cocker Spaniel, if I'm not mistaken. But that little dog was cool as shit, man. That little brown one, Steven?
Yeah, he had drive.
And yeah, and like you said, that thing was like a freaking rocket. Like he wasn't really finished or kind of. It was like his. I don't know. I think he maybe been there for like a month or something like that. So he wasn't by no means polished up or completely near done. But by God, you let him go, and that dog was on a mission.
Yeah. I guess mine went. Let's see, August. I guess he went July 1. And I should get him back probably December 1. So
okay,
it's going to be a pretty lengthy training. But next up is force fetch. He's been swimming all over the place. They're going to work him on live birds, pigeons, and then transition to duck hunting. And so he's going to be a duck hunting Cocker Spaniel, I guess is the easiest way to put it. It's going to be little, but he's going to be cool. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
It's like the best of both worlds. Everyone wants that dog that's small enough where they can kind of take around in the pickup and sit in the passenger seat and go right down the road.
Yep.
And not have to have a giant ass dog in the back seat breathing everywhere. Yep. So I mean, that's honestly not a bad size at all. Like if I could choose a dog, I would choose a goddamn corgi to have in my pickup. If I could choose a dog that was like a hunting dog and a riding around dog, if a corgi could do it, that's who I'd pick.
Yeah, Corgi's legs ain't long enough to get over the front yard if you skipped a week of mowing it, though.
Yeah, no, they're stubby little bastards, but man, those little dogs are cool.
That's awesome. And you guys have a German short hair, don't you?
Yeah, so we actually picked up a new one in December. So now I've got 3, and then we've got that lab. So
okay.
Yeah.
The trainer that we're using is Oak Creek Retrievers, and they're out of Hearn, Texas, just outside of College Station.
Gotcha. Heck yeah.
Been super, super happy.
Right. And so that
right? Because I'm up here in Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, so her name is Kelly Hope. Her business is called Hope Retrievers.
I know exactly where it is. I got a duck lease that is 5 miles from there. Yeah, I pass it every time we go to one of the properties where I got a lease. I know exactly where she is.
Yeah, Kelly's an awesome person. We actually met. Funny story. Shoot, I think I was maybe a sophomore in high school or a junior in high school, and actually in the neighborhood that me and Kayla bought a house in last year. She lived like 2 houses down from where we're at right now, and right across the road is basically just an open pasture. And so she would always go out there and train. She only had personal dogs at that time. And so she would always go out there and have her set up and this and that. And I had just got my short hair. And so just west of that was a big CRP field, and that's where I'd take my dog. But I was always just kind of amazed at everything she did with her um, retrievers, just because in my eyes, it's a lot more technical stuff behind it than having a pointer. But so I met her then, followed her and her husband on Facebook, and then when I finally got Waylon, I reached back out to her, and at that point she had started her deal, and so we took him to White Ride, and this is his third year being there, and every year we take him for 4 months. So
Okay, refresher during the summer.
right, correct. And so once he's completely finished, it'll bump down. We'll maybe take him like a month before the season starts just to get back into shape, polish up on blinds and stuff of that sort. And but I think maybe we've got another year before we do that. He's still got some work to do. He's a goddamn firecracker. I'm just gonna put it that way. I don't think he hunted with y'all when y'all were down here, did he?
No.
Okay.
Steven and I don't remember the first day, or I guess it was both days. What's your buddy's name? He was your bird dog.
Oh, man, Adriel maybe.
Adriel. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Was he a big Mexican guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's your bird dog?
That boy could run.
Yeah. Dude, that's one thing about Adriel. Even whenever we're in high school in football, man, Adriel, I don't know how his legs work or what. It's almost like a corgi. They're so short and stubby. Those little bastards are running quick.
Yeah, he's pretty fast for a bigger dude.
He is.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
he definitely is. Yeah, Adriel, those short legs move quick. I can say that much.
Ryan, we should have set up a race. Ryan, a couple years ago, we were on a quail hunt, and he may have had a few of those green cans too many, and started telling everybody he could run a 4.340 in high school, and he could still do it. One of these days, I got to pull the video up because I took a drone and flew it over him and one of our other buddies racing, and yeah, that was two old fat guys that like to eat shit. Is all that was.
Yeah.
I wish I would remember that when we were up there, Ryan. Could have got a guy that outweighed you by 100 pounds, whoop your ass in a 40-yard dash.
Yeah, I'll give Adriel a go.
That's like 2 years ago. We had the same deal Brandon tried doing, telling everybody he could beat everybody in a race. And
what do you mean tried? I did.
Anyways, we start racing and everybody leaves and it's just me and him still. And then out of nowhere, he just drops. And he just like grabs both legs and he's like, I'm cramping. Brandon ended up getting cramps in both of his legs and both calves and hamstrings.
No, it wasn't my calves, it was my hammies. And like,
it hit me. Go first, yeah.
Yeah, they hit me at the same time and I just fell to the ground and I was crying. And I wasn't crying, but I was laughing so hard I was crying. And I was like, Steven, stretch my legs. And then it just made me laugh even more because we're in the middle of the entire campgrounds and I'm laying on my back in the rocks and Steven is like leaning on me, going back and forth. I'm like, God damn, we look like a bunch of gay dudes. It's like I can't breathe because my hammies are locked up. And I haven't raced again since that day.
Me neither.
Yeah. I learned my lesson.
Yep. Okay, so tell me about. I know your hunts include a complimentary box of Migra. Are you guys in bed with Migra, or what's that look like?
Yeah. So I think this year is year 3 or 4. I think year 3 that we've been doing the deal with Migra, and man, I honestly could not say enough good things about what they've got rolling there. Not only the shells, they're people think, or I tell people, whenever we give you that complimentary box, I like to tell them that it's Migra because, it's not like we're handing you, a Walmart box of shells that we bought last night. We're actually handing out some quality stuff. And behind that, the guys there, Q-Tip himself is a freaking awesome dude. And really, at any time I could call him, ask him if they've got this or that, and he'll have it shipped out in the next day or two. And it's usually on our doorstep in the next 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
And that's on the long side, but yeah, it's kind of it's been a really good thing for us, especially all of their shells are 3-inch, and they're shooting 1,515 feet per second. So
okay,
they're extremely hot, and we've never had any issues with them jamming in guns. Really, the only guys that don't shoot them are the Boss diehard guys, and
okay.
I mean that's just everyone's opinion. Boss makes a great shell also. But we kind of just went that route with Migra, and the deal that they offered us for the outfitter deal and all that, it's just been really good. So
And then I know the listeners can't see, but the viewers can. Your Mallard Bay hat. What's your partnership with Mallard Bay?
Yeah. So with Mallard Bay, we joined Mallard Bay, I think also 2 or 3 years ago.
About 3 years
And
ago.
yeah. And so basically, there's a lot of different things that they do for us that help us, make our process run a lot smoother. Whether that may be the calendar or, paid ads or calling leads from those paid ads. Um, just having an account manager, which ours is Brent Rogers. Um, he's an awesome dude, and I can literally call him at any point in time, and he'll answer if I've got a question about this booking deal isn't working the way it should. How do I fix it, or can you send out a manual invoice to this guy? They're usually right on it in a snap of a fingers, and that's really been it's been really game changer for us because when we first started, everything was kept on a like a calendar, just basically
Right.
writing it down and trying to keep up with money, trying to keep up with who's coming when, just remembering to write everything down. And I didn't mind it at the time because that was all I knew.
Sure.
That's all I'd only done it with pencil and paper. But once I got it to where we can pull up the phone and look at our entire calendar and look at how many spots we've got left, which ones are closed off, that whole 9 yards, it's really just made our lives a lot easier.
Just cleaner, right?
Right. It's
Yeah.
cleaner operation on the backside. A lot of people don't see it. It won't ever really be uh eye opening to anyone other than us. On the
Right.
backside for us, it just makes our operation run clean on the backside. And also come the end of the year and tax season comes around, I can go to our deal and it'll bring me the entire stripe payout for the entire year. And I can just get my numbers from that, send it to the CPA and figure out how I can figure out not to pay the IRS.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you a little bit of a loaded question. Do you have much competition in Plainview for crane hunting?
I don't think we could have any more than we do.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Okay.
And I think that's a fair statement for the entire um, area. Now it's not as bad as Lubbock, but you know, it's there's guys, and the deal is Lubbock's getting so congested, everyone's moving to our area anyways. But as far as like let's say it was only local guys. First off, we're the only local outfitter that was actually born and raised and is still running in Plainview.
Okay.
There's been some other, but they've sold off, and other guys either from the Dallas or East Texas area have bought those and are now running them. But we're the only last standing, local outfitter at this moment. Now there is another outfitter that he does live here in town, but he's not a local to our area. He come from Louisiana, and now he's a Plainview resident. But
Okay.
yeah, to answer the question, I'd say we run into 2 to 3 different outfits every day, nearly every day, I'd say.
Just scouting and running roads and checking
Right,
stuff. Yeah.
just scouting. Yeah. No matter where we go, whether it's east of town, west of town, north or south, we're gonna run into somebody at some point in time. And most of the time we don't have issues with with anyone around here. We're like I like to say we're real laid back, and I like to keep ourselves under the bushes. You can, kind of just
Yeah,
moving in
under the radar.
silence.
Yeah.
And, right. Yeah, I don't like to make a lot of ruckus, but I like to just keep my head down and
Yeah.
if you see another outfitter, wave at him, stop and ask him how they're doing and wish them good luck. But
Yeah. So the loaded question part is, are you familiar with Mad Duck Outfitters?
I am not.
Haven't seen those. Okay. So my 14-year-old son plays baseball, and Mad Duck Outfitters is a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. And he is setting up shop essentially in Plainview in the off season. He's playing baseball right now.
Okay.
So he's setting up shop in Plainview. Nice guy. His name's Chris Paddock. Met him a couple times. Just salt of the earth dude. Young guy. He's a professional ball player. But
That's a sweet job to have.
he's going to be running around that Plainview area. So you guys may bump into him at some point.
Yeah, see, have her pass along my number to him and
Okay.
let him know if he's ever got or if he ever finds himself in a sticky situation or just needs help with really anything,
Yeah. So
to reach out.
he's just getting going. Last year was kind of a buddy hunt kind of thing. So this year, I think they're really going to try harder on the guiding. Him and another ball player, another pitcher, are really going to give it a go this year and try to actually bring clients on. But I guess he's got some property leased up just like everybody else does, and hope the best for all of them. But nice guy. I'll definitely try to connect the dots to you guys.
Yeah, definitely pass it along. That's kind of that's a big thing in this area, and it's an unfortunate thing is, there are so many guys around here, and of course, every once in a while you might have you know, just a little bit of a confrontation with somebody, but there's no reason to just automatically be, an
And be a
ass.
jerk about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, exactly. We're all in the same industry and we're all trying to make money. We've all got the same, we're all hunting with the same deal.
Yep.
There's enough birds in this area and there's enough people in the world for everyone to make a living. And it's unfortunate that there are some guys out here that can't really seem to wrap that around their mind, and all they want to do is go around and act like a bunch of macho dicks and assholes. And
Yep.
so if we could get everyone to work around each other a little bit better. And we're actually got a meeting tomorrow with an outfit in the area.
Okay.
Me and Steven do, and we're going to go sit down with them and we're going to talk about, just a couple different strategies that we can use together as a team to help each other out and kind of weed out the guys that are acting the way they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Kind of the fly by night guys.
right, exactly. If we can get it to where everyone's cool and on the same page and there's no issues, that's all you can ask for.
Yep. Y'all in the same game at the same time. So does it ever happen
Right.
where two outfitters ever lease or rent the same field at the same time?
Yes,
Yes.
it mainly happens with the day leasing stuff.
Okay.
If you can find a field that night and you call on it, and usually that's whenever you'll see that happen. I think 2 years ago we rolled up to a field, and this was one of those November hunts, and it was really cold. First day we went out, and it was kind of a slow hunt, but that second day we'd found a really great feed. We went out there, showed up that morning, and pulled up to the field, and on the complete opposite side of the field, there's some lights out there, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And sure enough, we went out there, and there's another group of guys out there, and they got permission from the granddad, and we got permission from the son, and so it got mixed up that way. But it was one of those deals where we just set up. I think we had 4 or 5 A-frames, and we hunted 16 people, and I think we shot
All hunted
48.
together.
Yeah, well, I think we shot
Oh, killer.
48 birds
Awesome.
by like 9 o'clock or something like that.
That's great.
I think it might have been earlier than that. It was a
Love to
banger
hear
of a
that.
hunt.
Yeah, so it just it happens, but it kind of
Make the best of it, move on, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to fight 4 in the morning. I damn sure don't want to fight at 4 in the morning. I ain't even got my eyes open. I probably hadn't even drank my damn Monster at that time or my Red Bull. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but it does happen. But I don't think it happened to us once last year though. Did it, Steven?
No, it didn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which last year it was a lot of, we didn't do a whole bunch of day leasing last year. We had basically everything we hunted last year. We had it leased up for the season, so we didn't really have any issues with that one.
I was gonna say, do y'all try to stay away from the day leasing for the most part? That way, your stuff is locked down for the year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely the way to go for sure. Now, of course, at some point in time you'll have to day lease, but if you can plan it right and strategize it to where you're going to lease it for the season, that's definitely the way to go for sure.
Does being local to Plainview, do you think you have an edge on everybody else, knowing people and say, "Hey, I'm local here. I've been local here," versus Joe Schmo off the street trying to lease a field?
Yeah, I think it helps us quite a bit on that aspect, and a lot of it too also is Plainview's not very big, so if I don't know somebody, I can most likely call a buddy or hell even Steven, and I can usually find out who someone is and make a connection with someone they know pretty dang quick.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that helped us out a lot last year. Steven's got a real good buddy that is a pretty big farmer in the area that we hunt, and so I know that's helped us out tremendously, at least on that aspect for sure.
Contact wise, yeah, it definitely gives us a step up.
Yeah,
and then you can't hunt his stuff. He probably knows somebody. He knows his neighbors, or hell, I guess
Right.
across town even. He knows everybody and call and put a good word in for you.
Right.
Yep, exactly. That's it. And he can kind of point us to a direction, like, oh well, this dude over here doesn't have it leased out to anybody, or this guy had a bad experience. You might go talk to him and kind of give him a rundown of what y'all are doing, and he might lease out to y'all. So, farmers talk. That's one thing they do. And so that's one of those reasons, everyone says, if you don't have your farmers, you really don't have nothing. So
Right.
pay them good and be honest with them and clean up their fields, because without them, you're gonna
You got
have
nothing.
hell trying to shoot some birds. They don't. Them
Yeah.
birds don't eat pavement.
And there's no public to hunt them on.
There's no public land here. No.
Yeah.
No.
Can you guys talk about a bad experience with clients?
I'll let. Were you on that one, Steven?
Which one?
With the guys from Austin.
No, actually, I wasn't on that one. I was in class.
That was Adriel and Trevor at the time. I think that's really been our only, what you could say was bad experience. But so the guys called me probably like 3 days before their hunt. And, it called me and was like, hey, we were supposed to go hunt with somebody else. He's no longer answering our phone calls. He's like blocked my number. And that should have been a red flag for me, first off. He was like, can you help us out? And I was like, yeah, I've got a couple open spots, I can stick you in here and this
Right.
and that. So I told him our pricing, and he was like, oh, well, no, we really want you to match us what the other guy was going to charge. The other guy was going to charge him like 200 and something bucks.
Okay.
So it had to have been one of those fly by night guys that, you don't make no money off of $200 a day.
Sure.
And so I told him, I was like, I can't do that, but, if y'all want to make the drive, y'all are already driving, is what he said. I was like, y'all are already on y'all's way here, just come and hunt. So at the end of the day, he was texting me till like 11:30 that night. And finally I was like, God damn, I just want to go to sleep. So I was like, all right, I'll take off $50 or something like that.
Right.
And so we settled on that. They show up, and I think they were only hunting one day. So that was another issue. We really didn't run 1-day hunts.
Right.
So we helped him out on a couple different aspects. And as a 1-day hunt, they showed up. We had found a really good feed. We had permission from this farmer. We had a whole different part of his stuff leased up. And what's it called? Come to find out, he farmed for another farmer and was able to lock down that farmer's stuff under the same lease that what we had.
Okay.
So it was a field that we found out about later, and sure enough, that field was actually loaded down pretty good. And so it was a fresh field, freaking, it was going to be a banger. And so we take those guys, Adriel and Trevor, they set up that morning, hunt that field. First off, the guys, if you know anything about crane hunting, which I know y'all do, looking down and not being spotted, having a good hide is one of the main things that you have to do. If you're going to be pie facing everything, it's not going to work out. So these guys pie faced nearly everything. And there were 6 of them. I know towards early morning, they had a group of birds come in. I think Adriel and Trevor said it was nearly like a 30 or 40 bird group. And I think the guys managed to drop 1 or 2, like feet down in the decoys, which, hey, it happens. Everyone
ready to go. Yeah.
Got a bunch of Ryans out there,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, bunch of Ryans out there shooting blanks. And so it happens. Everyone gets their jitters out. Cool. Well, as the morning goes on, it starts to heat up a little bit. We were hunting it was a cut cornfield that had already been plowed under, and it started getting a little bit warm throughout the day, and so the birds were starting to hit a wheat field beside us. And it was one of those deals where as the morning went on, it just got really slow, and the guys, I think, maybe got another 4 or 5 different opportunities to shoot at birds. And I think they ended the day with like 3 birds or something like that.
Wow.
And so they were extremely pissed off. And I wasn't there. I was scouting, and the guy calls me and is like, hey, we only shot X amount of birds. What are you going to do for us to make up for it? And I was like, all right. I was like, well, let me call Adriel and see what happened. I was, if it's something on our end that we did, I'd be more than happy to make up for it and
Sure.
and make things right. call Adriel, and Adriel's like, dude, these guys can't shoot. Like they had multiple opportunities to put birds on the ground, and they just couldn't get it done. And so I called the guy back, and I'm like, hey, so I heard, y'all got some shooting opportunities and this and that. And I was like, that there's a lot of things we can't control, and the birds is one of those. I was like, so y'all had some shooting opportunities, and y'all really didn't get it done, and there's really not a whole bunch I can do for you. I was like, if you want, I'll knock off that same $50 if you want to hunt tomorrow, and we can go try at them again.
Try it again. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so he was like, no, your guide said that if we didn't do good this morning that we were going to hunt again for free. And I was like, well, it's like I highly doubt that, because we don't do that for really anybody. And so he was just blowing my phone up. And in the meantime, Adriel and Trevor had texted me, and he's like, dude, these fucking guys are in a big circle behind their blind, and freaking like we're cutting the crane's necks off, and like we're grabbing the blood and doing like these weird rituals. And I was like, oh shit, dude, you better freaking get out of there before you start putting some bad juju.
Leave. Yes.
Yeah. So someone's got a vest on that might have something that goes boom under there. But oh shit, but I was like, y'all need to get out of there. And so come to find out, everyone cleans up, and on the way out of that field, you've got to pass the big roost. And so by that time, the guy stopped calling me, he called me back, and he's like, hey, we're leaving. There's this giant water hole right here that's got ducks, geese, crane, the whole 9 yards on it. He's like, why can't we hunt this? And I was like, well, first off, that's our roost. I was like, there's no shot in hell you're even going to touch that thing.
Right.
And they ended up sitting there at the roost for like 30 minutes or so. And Adriel was calling me. He's like, dude, I'm kind of scared these guys are about to get out and start shooting.
Right.
And thankfully they didn't. But the whole bad thing that come from it was, at this point, we weren't using Mallard Bay. It was a different we were just running stuff through Stripe, I think. And this was like real early in the season before we swapped over to Mallard Bay that season. And every single one of them had got on there and disputed their
geez, credit card charges.
Disputed their transactions. And so whenever I booked the hunt, it was of course one guy that booked it. Everyone sent their friend money, and then like it went through that one guy, and there was maybe like two other guys that did it themselves, but I only talked to one guy. And so I didn't have any type of conversation with the other guy. So when I got the notification that it was being disputed, they were like, send us any information you have talking to so-and-so that can show, what he was paying for.
You had nothing, right?
Right. Yeah. Correct. On like 2 or 3 of them, I had nothing to prove, what they were paying me for, because I didn't talk to them. I talked to the other guy.
Yep.
And we just sent them the invoice and they paid. So that happened. I think there was like 2 or 3 of them that got their money back that way. And then they all got on Facebook, and we're just going on Facebook, and we're like, they put us on a field that they hunted 5 days before in a row, and the guides are rude and this and that, and it was a whole mix up. But it's kind of just one of those things where you just got to really take it on the chin and
move on.
And go on to the next one, because I mean there wasn't really nothing else we could have done about it. We really did everything we were supposed to, and they were just one of those guys, and except one of them, there was one person in that group that called me a week later and apologized for everybody else, and he was just saying that that wasn't the first time that group's been like that before with another hunting experience, and that it seems that every hunt they go to, they try to get something free out of it. And so it was one of those groups where they're just a pain in the ass.
Yeah. They're on the list.
That's their scam to get through, is fucking doing dispute charges, and that's shit. So, all right, other than the bird sacrificing, have you seen anything? Is that the craziest shit you've seen? Or, I mean, you weren't there that day, or heard about in the field, I mean, with Panhandle Flyways? I mean, or have you seen some crazier shit from clients?
No. That definitely
yeah, the whole ritual and cutting necks and bleeding blood and singing and hooting and hollering and that was definitely the weirdest thing. Hey, I'm not knocking anyone. I'm not knocking anyone's religion, but that shit was.
Did they
when
roll
I
a
heard
rug
it was
out
creepy.
and like pray on the rug with them?
That's probably the issue. They didn't pray to the sun when that motherfucker come up. That's why we did so bad. So yeah, that's definitely that's the crazy story for Panhandle Flyways. Other than
Were they even in hunting clothes, or they show up like in street clothes?
I couldn't tell you. They probably had sandals on. But yeah, no,
Sandals.
socks and sandals, wool socks. But yeah, no, it was crazy, man. I think there's really Steven got chased by a crop plane one time. I guess that could
that is true.
kind of be a crazy story, and I'll let him dive into that one if he wants.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, hit us with that one.
Yeah, so I was, and it was when we just very first started rolling. It was like year one, maybe before that. And me and Adriel just riding around. And at the time, I was in a small white Hyundai Sonata car. And for a while, this thing was the hunting rig. And
big ball.
I'm going,
yeah.
big
Tell
baller.
him the FX4 you put on the back of it.
Yeah, I took the XF4 off my buddy's pickup and slapped it on the back, on the right fender. But yeah, no, I'm just driving down county roads, scouting, and they're just filled to have birds in it, and there's a house on that field. And so I walked up to that house. Well, when I was walking up to it, there's a big old dog in the front yard. And so I was kind of iffy on going up there because he was barking and his tail was tucked. So I walked up and I thought about it, so I backed up. And then I was like, you know what, he ain't gonna bite me. So I walked up again. So I was just I looked, I'm not gonna lie, I looked suspicious. And not very often you see a Mexican dude, walking up to the house.
Okay.
But I mean, I didn't follow through. I left the business card in the mailbox, circle my name. And when pulling out, I look up and I just see a big yellow crop plane flying over us. And I was like, oh, that's dope. He's spraying the fields or whatever. And so while driving away, he does a pass again. But on this pass, he dropped like 30 feet. And he's probably, 30 feet above us and just stays real low. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to lie. I think this was his house. It's like, I think the wife might be in there and she snitched on us.
Right. Didn't you say the curtains were kind of open whenever y'all pulled up?
Yeah.
Like y'all seen someone inside?
Right. When pulling away, his wife was in the window on the phone. And so I just keep driving. There ain't nothing I can do about it. Guy's in a plane. So I keep driving. And he does a spin around again. And this time, I kid you not, he was probably 10 feet above me. And I don't know what he sprayed or let out of that crop plane, but he just completely sprayed my whole car. It was full of fertilizer or spray something. And I told Adriel, I was like, dude, I think this guy's mad at us. And so I keep driving, and he's just, we were probably 20 miles from Plainview, and the whole way home, he's chasing me. And then at one point, I guess he called his buddy, and so there's a truck chasing me. And by the time I get home, there were 2 sheriffs at my house just waiting for me to pull up to my driveway.
Holy crap.
And so I get there, and, they told me the whole spiel about they thought I was talking or whatever. And I was like, no, man. I was like, I'll show you a business card. I was like, I was just trying to talk to them about hunting on their stuff.
Can I hunt his field?
Right. And, that passes over, and then my buddy calls me, Coy Bodeker. He's a farmer out there. And he's like, dude, he was like, were you at a house earlier today? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I was out scouting. He was like, there's rumors of you stalking or something like that. I was like, what? I was like, stalking? He was like, yeah, dude. He was like, I'm about to send you this guy's number. It was his house. And so I was like, all right. So I call him. I was like, hello. He's like, hey, dude, is that you? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, I meant no harm. I was like, your dog was just scared me, so I didn't want to walk up fully. But yeah, that's the whole spill of me getting chased by that crop plane.
Wow.
It was insane. He followed me all the way home. That truck followed me the way home. It was a whole spill. But
wow.
So did you get permission to hunt it?
No, I didn't. No. He didn't even own the field that the crops are on. I was like, so everything I went through getting chased, dealing with the sheriff's office and all that stuff, it was all pointless because he didn't even own what was behind his house. And it was loaded with birds too.
Damn.
It did kind of work out though, because being a crop sprayer, he knows everybody. And so like, yeah. And like last year, we every once in a while we'll call him and be like, hey dude, what's kind of anyone that's got a bunch of grain this year, how's it looking this year? How's the water out there looking? What farmers got what going on and this and that. So connection wise, it helped us out quite a bit because Steven can call him up and be like, hey, it's that kid you chased in the fucking plane that one time. and he'll know exactly who he's talking about.
Yeah, anytime I say that, it's just he's like, oh yeah, I remember. He knows right off the bat because I don't think he chases someone in his crop plane every day. You know what I mean?
Probably not. Probably not.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does he tell you guys where the birds are?
Yeah, like
I think that scouting might be illegal, isn't it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Good thing he's the scouting and not us.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff.
It's but yeah, that was. Other than that, though, I think that's the only crazy stuff that we've had go on.
That's pretty wild. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Guys,
it's been good.
It's probably about time to wrap it up, unless y'all got anything else.
No, not really anything else other than if you'd like to come out to the Panhandle, Texas, and get on some crane or some geese or some ducks, pheasant, quail, prairie dogs, anything of that stuff. Feel free to reach out. You can call me at 806-994-8760. And I'll let Steven give out his number. And we've also got the website. You can look us up on panhandleflyways.com or on social media. We're on just about everything there is other than TikTok. So
awesome.
My number is 806-518-1725.
And you can go through Mallard Bay too, right? So I know when we booked, that was the first time I've ever booked anything through Mallard Bay. And that was, I talked to you on the phone and then you're like, I think you'd said, well, I'll have Mallard Bay reach out to you. And an hour something later, it was like 8:00 at night. They called, gave them the card number for the deposit. And I think they called a day or two before the hunt and were like, yeah, you're good. We're going to charge your card with the rest of it. And it's easy. It's definitely easy.
Yeah.
Through them. So
yeah. And so that's Brant's whole deal. And I was talking about earlier about Brant being like my right hand guy, like the dude takes care of a bunch for me. I was able to be like, hey, dude, Jason just needs to put a deposit down for 2 guys on these days. Can you contact him? Because there's a lot of new features now that we have that they didn't have back then. And now I can personally send you like a quote and he'll do everything for us. And but at that point, I was like, hey, can you call Jason, just get him booked up real quick? And so he was able to do that while I was able to go on with my day and talk to other clients or go and scout or do whatever I needed to do. And so, yeah, but you can find us on Mallard Bay and just look up Panhandle Flyways and we'll be there.
Nice.
Guys, we appreciate y'all coming on, taking the time to do this. And y'all want to go up to the Panhandle, have a good hunt. It's hunting. Ryan and I didn't have the best hunt when we were up there. We killed birds the first day though, but Brandon and Steven make it worth going. That's for sure.
Yeah, we still had a good time. Great company with those guys.
I'll be the first one to say we got our ass kicked, but like you said, it's hunting. It happens to everybody. And if y'all ever want to come back and give them a second go, give me a holler and we can definitely set something up.
I'm still licking my wounds from last time. Them cranes can be assholes.
Yeah, they can. They're tough, man.
My crane hunting anyway. We had done it year or 2 years prior in Amarillo with Toby, and Ryan just doesn't like the cranes. So when I was like, "No, we're going crane hunting again," he's like,
"Oh yeah, y'all were supposed to come back for the geese, is what I really wanted to get into."
Yeah,
right?
That's
Ryan
what I
did.
would love. Yeah, I'm gonna bring my boy and we'll shoot some geese. I'm down for that.
There you go. We'll figure something out. If y'all got any free days, freaking just come down and come hang out. And we can actually get you on the lodge, and y'all don't have to go on another honeymoon and rub oil on each other's back and all that shit. We can put you in something this time. So just holler whenever, and we can get something set up.
Excellent. I call top bunk. So
there you go.
I'm not even going there.
Gotta love it.
All right, guys. We appreciate it, man, and best of luck to y'all this year. And I'm sure Ryan or one of us will be reaching out and try to set something up for later this year with y'all. Come up and hang out for a weekend.
Yep.
Just holler whenever. Ryan, Jason, I appreciate y'all having us on. And if there's anything we could ever do for you, just holler and maybe we'll see y'all later this year.
Awesome, guys.
Have
Y'all
a
have a
good
good night. See y'all soon.
Hey, thanks. Y'all too.
Yeah. Yeah, have a good
Later.
one.